Hey, thanks for checking out this video. I just want to jump in here real quick in voiceover while I'm editing it to say that this footage was filmed over a year ago in April of 2024. It is now late April 2025. A lot of these points still stand, but I just wanted to update. I do still have the Tesla. I have not made a purchase decision yet. The car has now almost 80,000 miles on it, and it is definitely showing its age, and I am getting more and more inclined to get a WRX. That is why I'm revisiting this footage. I completely forgot that I hadn't uploaded it. So I hope you enjoy the show. And just know some of the talking points are a little outdated. Subaru has also totally increased the price of the WRX since I filmed this. A limited is now like 42 grand, which I think is a little too expensive. Um, but yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy.
All right, guys, how's it going? So it's been a while since I've made a YouTube video. I've just been really busy with life and stuff, but here's my little situation update here. So I have this 2022 Tesla Model 3 dual motor. I have the acceleration boost on it. It's a lot of fun. I've driven it about 52,000 miles so far in about 2.5 years or so. And it's gotten to the point where I've had a lot of issues with it. I'm thinking about what I should get next. And this has been my prime contender as of late. It's the Subaru WRX. So why would I want to give up my Tesla Model 3 for a Subaru WRX? Well, there's a few things. One, they are surprisingly kind of similar vehicles. They're both four-door sedans. They're both all-wheel drive. That's about it. But I think they both look pretty cool. The looks of the Model 3 has definitely grown on me. I feel like it's kind of a simpler elegance. Unfortunately, where I live, there's a million of them, so it's not cool or unique at all. Whereas the WRX, some people complain about the styling and all the black plastic, and yeah, there is a lot of black plastic on it, but you don't see a lot of these. I don't really remember the last time I saw one on the road. I feel like they kind of fly under the radar a little bit for being a kind of cool sporty car. And that leads me into another thing, which I really love about my Tesla, is that for what it is, it's actually a very sporty, dynamic chassis. It's a nimble chassis. Yes, it's a heavy car, but it feels like a tight, small car, especially with the stuff I've done to it. I've put summer performance tires on it, and I've also put solid mount bushings in the front suspension, and that really livened it up. And it's a really dynamic car up in the hills. I can get pretty competitive times, and it's really a quick car. And I feel like the WRX with some simple bolt-on tools could get to a very similar level as the Tesla. Another thing that I really appreciate about with the WRX is the attention to visibility. Something I've had a problem with in the Tesla is the visibility isn't the best out of that car. If you can kind of see, the roof is a really sloped angle and the headrests are right at the top of it. So you really only have a little tiny window to look out of with your mirror, where this, because the angle is a bit steeper and the shelf is a bit lower, because in that car, the rear shelf is really high. There's actually a much better visibility out the back. And up here in the front, what they've done is they have moved the mirrors down here on the door so that you have great visibility out this window, where compared to the Tesla, it's on the pillar and you have this huge angle that is blocking your visibility. Plus you have the mirror here and this speaker. So just a comparison, here is the interior of the Model 3. The pillars here are actually also really huge, and they are quite a blind spot around sharp corners on 2-lane roads at night. So you have this big pillar, the speaker here, and the mirror is quite a bit of a blind spot. Now inside the WRX, as you can tell, I have the engine on, so it's a little louder. But if you look in the doors here, the pillars are way thinner. They've managed to make them wider instead of taller. And so, yes, it's still a strong pillar that will help you in a crash. But when you look at it, you kind of see it more at this narrower angle. Much better visibility there. Also, with the mirror being down on the door, I can look right past it, and it's just the pillar. There's no huge triangle obstruction in the way. And so it's really easy to see around over here. Another thing that I really like about the WRX, or most other cars as a Tesla owner, is the physical controls for the lights. I am somebody who will flash you at night if you're driving around with your headlights off. I see it every night I drive, so I'm constantly giving people the high beam or cutting them on and off. And it's difficult to do that in the Tesla, because in the Tesla, all you have is just the pull for the high beams. And then when you pull the high beam, it brings up a little menu on the screen that shows your different settings. So I'm constantly tapping between high and low and on and off to get people's attention. And then sometimes when you do that, it goes over the temperature control or the volume or the placement of the song, and then you're pulling the song around while you're trying to flash the high beams, and it's kind of a mess. I wish it just had this same mechanical, fog light, headlight, on, off, auto high beam. I wish that the Tesla just had this. But keeping with the turn signal stock, one thing that is a problem with the WRX, this being a 23, I think they updated it for 24. It has the stupid digital signals where they don't stay down, they bounce back up. And you can't turn the signal off by pulling it down again like you can in the Tesla. If you just tap it down again, it shuts it off. You have to then go up and then, oh no, I went the other way. Oh no. It's like that's not a good idea. One update that Subaru has made to this Tesla-like screen is a Tesla-like functionality with the heated seats. When this car first came out, the heated seats were down here at the bottom, and when you tapped it, it opened up this menu, and you then had to tap it again on this huge screen that blocks your radio. Thankfully, with an update in the software, you can now just tap the heated seats just like you can in the Tesla, one touch. Another thing this car has that the Tesla does not have is, well, the Tesla has a full panoramic glass roof, and this is just a sunroof. This has a shade, a built-in sunshade. How nice is that? In my Tesla, I added these like clip-in roof covers, and they're just a nightmare. The clips fall out, they flutter in the wind when the windows are down. This is just simple, and I wish Tesla would implement this. One drawback that I have noticed with this car compared to the Tesla is the mirror does vibrate a little bit when you have the sound system up, and when you put things in these cubbies, the stuff in here vibrates. I had my AirPods and the keys in this last night, and I had to take it out because it was just vibrating horribly. And I've never experienced that in the Tesla. I think because the Tesla has a rubber mat in the bottom, but also in the Tesla you have a gigantic center console. So in the Tesla, like I mentioned, the center console is amazing. You have this just absolutely cavernously huge center console space. You can just throw stuff in, and I mean, it goes in there pretty far. It's a little dirty right now, sorry about that. But it is a huge center console. And then the door pockets are also really big. They go back really far in there, and you can fit a whole water bottle in here. You have really good cup holders. And then here in the center console, I have this tray that comes out. Put this tray in. This came with these aftermarket lights I got, so it's a little spaghetti in here, but this is also another huge cubby that goes down under the cup holder. So just the amount of storage in this car is really amazing. As I mentioned with the rear visibility, it's kind of hard to get it on camera. It's hard to see out of this because you got your seats, and this shelf is so high, and then this up here is the sunshade that I have put in here. You can see it's just this like felt fabric thing. In the back, the wind pressure folds over and flutters on this, and sometimes it pulls it down. Like I have this one down right now because the wind was messing with it and it came off. As I mentioned, here are the turn signals. If you just tap it down, turns it on. I love that it has a camera. That's an amazing feature. I will definitely miss that in whatever car I get next. Also with the cameras, when you're driving, it knows, because it has a full autopilot and it has the cameras, it knows when you've made the lane change, and it will automatically turn them off for you. Another thing is you can just tap it down, shuts it off. It's beautiful. In terms of implementation, while I don't like a digital turn signal stock, this is the correct way to do it. Tesla definitely got it right. The Subaru one feels a bit more clunky than this system. All right, let's talk about seats. So I got the white seats in the Tesla. Personally, I feel like this is the only way to go because the white is really soft. You see how it kind of like ripples there? Like, this is such a soft, comfortable material. I call them the marshmallow seats because they really are an amazing material. Easy to clean. I haven't cleaned these seats in probably a couple months, and they still look pretty great. And just a quick little wipe down that makes them look brand new again. I also like that both sides are power adjustable. That WRX that I'm driving right now is a premium, so it only has a manual seat on both sides actually. The limiteds get you the power seats. And I think I would probably want a limited because those have the power tilt for your thighs. And I feel like I could definitely use a little bit more thigh support in the Subaru. Another thing I've noticed is, so with the Tesla seats, right, they're fixed and they're pretty flat. Where in the Subaru, I feel like the back kind of goes in more, and then the headrest, it only tilts. So this whole section of your neck and your upper shoulders kind of doesn't touch anything. At least for me, I'm a tall driver. I'm 6 feet tall with a tall torso. So the top of my head kind of hits about here on the Subaru. I don't know if you can see, I have the headrest tilted forward a bit over there. Other creature comforts that make the Tesla an amazing daily driver. You have a wireless charger right here, both sides. Wireless charger is really easy, just slap it down. It's honestly been really reliable for me. I've never really had issues with it. Another thing that I love is the multi-function steering wheel controls. I love that I just have a play pause button right here on the wheel, and I can also hold it down and then it becomes my fan speed, or I can switch it over and do multiple other. I can change the temperature, I can pull up my cameras, I can do all kinds of stuff with this. And so I really love having the multifunction steering wheel buttons. But at the very least, I wish that the Subaru and pretty much all other cars, I think Hyundais do this, but Subaru does not. I wish there was a mute button or a pause button on the steering wheel, because I really love this feature. In the Subaru, you can push the power button and that will pause your music. But this is just nice to have on the wheel. All right, so let's talk about how easy it is to get in and out of the car. So when you walk up to it, obviously it's locked. And with a Tesla, you don't actually have any keys. It's just your phone. So the moment I walk up to it, just open the door, unlocks, mirrors open. Something else you can do is if you're in a really tight garage and you can't really reach very well, you can just come in here, roll down the window, right? It's always powered, even when the car's off. And you can get in, you just lean in over the door, really nice. That really helps in those tight parking garages. Next, all I need to do is just put my foot on the brake, car starts up, put it in drive, and we're driving away, just like that. Really easy, really simple. It's really nice if you're in a hurry, you're just trying to get out of here. There's nothing quicker and easier than this. Another neat thing is if you forget to put it in park, like right now it's in drive, and I want to leave, I push the button to get out the door, and the car immediately puts the parking brake on, it puts it in park, and sometimes I don't even put it in park, I just let the car do it for me. Now with the WRX, of course, it's going to be a little bit different. You have to have your keys. I have my key in the pocket. This car has proximity sensors, but if you have a base WRX, you will need to get your key out and physically use the remote, but just put it on the handle, door opens, really simple. This obviously being a framed window, you cannot roll down the windows and leaning over the door. You kind of have to get in with the gap, whatever you have in the parking spot. Then you get in, you close the door. A little bit more complicated. You got to put your foot on the clutch, make sure you're in neutral, foot on the brake, then push a button that starts the car. You got to wait. The screen takes a lot longer to start up, and it gives you this crazy warning every single time, which is really annoying. And then when you want to get going, you got to put it in gear, take down the parking brake, foot off the brake, and you can start going. Again, not the end of the world, it's totally fine, but it is a couple extra steps you have to do if you're really in a hurry or something. One really nice thing about this car is that it has a feature called hill holds. Right now I am in reverse, foot on the brake, foot on the clutch. I'm facing downhill, so the car will roll forwards. But if I lift off the brake, it is holding. It is currently holding, and now it let go and I'm going forwards again, even though I'm still in reverse because the clutch is down. So it held for about 3-4 seconds there, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, you have to be at a complete stop for that to happen. You have to kind of be there for a couple seconds. I've definitely noticed that while I'm driving, it will not engage right away. If I come to just a quick stop and then try and go, it will still roll back. So you have to hold it there for a couple seconds for it to acknowledge that you are holding, and you will need help to get going. So how does the WRX drive? Well, it drives really cool, actually. I really enjoy having a manual. I've missed it. I actually really like this big steering wheel. It feels really nice. And I know they make aftermarket ones that are like actual, like real leather. This is kind of like a fake leather. It's nice while it's new. I don't know how it's going to age. My Tesla wheel has actually aged really well. I know people complain about them peeling, but you know, I'm a kind of a cleanliness person with interiors, so I'm always cleaning my steering wheel. At least once a week, I get a wet rag and scrub it down, and it stayed looking brand new from that. It's not gotten shiny or anything. And I'd probably be the same way with this car. The manual is really cool. I definitely have noticed that with it being a manual, you know, you have to shift. And I've noticed that the car doesn't have a lot of low-end grunt. Obviously, with a Tesla, you know, you're really getting in there immediately, right? And this car, like if I floor it, there's nothing, and now there's something. You know, you kind of got to work it up into the higher RPMs, which is fun. You just have to learn to drive a little bit differently. I definitely can't be shooting gaps in traffic in fourth gear because I just have nothing there. There's no power for me. Where in a Tesla, if I see a gap in traffic, bam, I'm in it. You know, you can get right in there where you can't in a car like this. And I think the instant torque thing is lost on people because, yes, everyone talks about Teslas, how quick they are, but in a daily perspective, like if a light turns yellow, I got a gun, it's gonna go, right? But in this car, it's like if I'm in fourth gear, it's like, am I gonna shift down? Can I make the downshift quick enough? Am I gonna be able to be in the right power band to get through it? I'll just stop at the yellow, whatever. You know, where the Tesla, it's there, you got it. You know, everybody talks about like, oh, but Teslas are slow and they're a drag race, they get slow top end, gas cars are quicker. Yeah, sure, past 100, yeah, a gas car is quicker, but how often, day-to-day commuting, are you really doing that? That being said, as a car enthusiast, how much fun am I having in this car? I have really enjoyed driving this car, and I really like the engagement that the manual has. I like the way the engine sounds. For me personally, I'm really not a four-cylinder guy. Inline fours are just not for me. But I do like a good Subaru Boxer because they sound a little different. They have a rumble, like I totally ran that red light, and they have a lot of power with the turbocharged engine, which a lot of cars around this price range are kind of just naturally aspirated four cylinders. So I think there's a really great value here with this car. And again, I love the engagement of the manual. I feel like this shifter is it kind of gets caught up in itself and it doesn't feel really smooth and direct. At the price point, it's a great package. And I feel like with the WRX, I've overlooked these cars. I think a lot of people overlook them because I sat in the last generation and I don't really like this driving position in that car. I think this car is way better. The interior is really good compared to the last generation. But a lot of people get caught up in the looks of this car. And I was too. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, whatever, it looks like a Crosstrek. That's kind of a weird little car. After driving it and experiencing it and after seeing what people do in the aftermarket, I think this has potential to be a really good looking car. You just got to do some things to it. And I think for the price, I mean, think about what this can compete with, right? V6 Camrys, those are in mid-high 30s. These cars, I think this car, MSRP'd at about 35, and limiteds are almost 40. For 40 grand, that's a Touring Accord, that's an XSE Camry with the V6. And I feel like, yes, it's a four-cylinder, but you get a lot more engagement with the manual, and all-wheel drive is standard, and the Harman Kardon system actually doesn't sound that bad. And with the 24s getting eyesight, I think there's a really great value proposition to be made here. And I think people should look into WRX a little bit more. I mean, the room is great. The visibility is amazing. The back seat is huge. I'll try and show you that there. The back seat's really roomy. Actually, it's better than the Tesla is. The Tesla back seat does kind of suck. It's not very big. And I think this is a great car, and I'm excited to look into getting one of these. I think this is probably going to be my next car. It's the closest thing that I can find to the Tesla with being totally different. Because like with the manual, right, like it feels a bit like an old school car. It has a lot of the old schooly things of like late 2000s kind of stuff. But at the same time, it has the newness of a new car that the Tesla had. And I think it's a pretty good contender if you are someone like me who did the EV thing, enjoyed its benefits, but also saw that, you can't road trip very well. I've done road trips in the Tesla. I've taken it from the Bay Area to LA twice. I've done it. It's possible. It's not amazing, but you can do it. But obviously with a gas car, it is just much more fun to just not have to stop to charge for 2.5 hours or whatever. So, final thoughts. What do I think? I think that it's an amazing car. I like it a lot. I didn't think I would as a Tesla owner, right? I mean, I have a little bit of an elitism with how just simple and nice the car has made my life. But if I had to go back to a gas car, which I probably will, I think this is an amazing choice, and you should look at it. It's really good.